Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Warner. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I am interviewing the one and only Kim Bean. So excited for our chat today because I have so many questions for you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Melanie.
Oh, absolutely. So tell us, Kim, what inspired you to get started as an intuitive coach, and what does that mean exactly?
So I'm an intuitive reader, which means that I reach out, I sense the energy, I feel into a person's bubble basically, and I find out what's hot for you. If you have a burning question, I can like help you find the answer. Take the job, not take the job. Like what happens if I go left? What happens if I go right? Can I get this wrong? I think a lot of people are afraid of messing up their life, right? And I am somebody who can sense the energy of what's coming and like if it's going to be okay or not, or if it's a good move or not, or sometimes even bad things. But how do you find the silver lining? And I'm definitely one to help you find silver linings in bad situations.
I love that. So it's learning to tap into like you have your intuition, you have this very strong connection to your intuition that you trust, and it gives you information about other people. So someone can ask you a question about their health, their relationships, their job, their career, anything. And
Anything.
and you get this information that you're kind of downloading from this source and you're saying, this is what my guides are telling me you should do. And that's really what a reading is for people that don't know, right?
Yes. Yep. I reach into my higher self. I'll even reach into your highest self. I'll reach into the potentials. I'll reach into what's in your energy field. Um, and then I'll tell you what I sense. Mostly it comes through in words for me, and sometimes it comes through in visuals for me. But I am a kinesthetic learner, which means it definitely comes up as just a knowing. Sometimes I just know something and I don't know how I know it. I just know it. And so people are like, how do you know that? And I just sort of go, I don't know. I just do. I just know it.
I
And so
know it in my knower.
I just know it in my knower and I know this is the right way to go. And then people go, how do you know? And I'm like, they just do. And so I'm able to do that for other people too.
What a gift, because some people are really good at doing that for themselves. But the thought of, I mean, to me, it would be like, oh my gosh, it would be so hard, like going on the subway or being around a bunch of people and you get this feeling or these words for this person. Are you somebody that will just reach out and say something to them and say, hey, by the way, I'm supposed to tell you this? Or do they think you're crazy? Or what happens when you're
It's a
out?
little bit of both. Yeah, they think I'm crazy. Yes. But then what even is crazier is when I'm right. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the sense that like you're really worried about blah and blah. And I just need you to know it's going to be okay. And that there are like protective hands around you and the angels are around you and I can see them and I know that you're going to be fine. And then their eyes go like huge and they're like, wait, how did you even know? And I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, I one time looked at a woman and I was like, you're here for one business, but you don't really want to do that business. You should be doing this other thing. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I feel like you're putting pillows on your back lawn. I'm like, I don't know even know what you're doing. And her eyes just bugged out and she was like, yeah, that's exactly what I should be doing. So like I just know and I sense. And I share it when I have permission. I never give without permission. Like I never share unless somebody has given me permission. So if I find a stranger on the street, I will say, or one time it was on a beach, I will say, "Hey, I'm an intuitive and like, do I have permission to share this with you?" And if
That's
they
good.
say no, I honor that 100% because I understand everybody comes from a different perspective and I honor a person's ability for autonomy. And so if they say no, I'm like, okay, no problem. And not offended in any way. And I just go on my way.
I love that. So, what happens if people don't understand this process? What happens if they just kind of try to go out there and keep trying to do things on their own, or they don't really know how to tap into their own intuition and they're just trying to like read signs out there and figure out what to do or how to make these decisions?
So I will say, I know you said earlier that I'm able to tap in for myself. I am, and I'm not. I can tell you times that I'm wrong for myself more often than not. And I often have to go to somebody who's like me to be like, I can't tell woods, trees, forest, path. I have no idea. So I find that for clarity, right? Um, if there's a question and I know I need a good answer, I seek advice from somebody who does what I do. because I want to make sure I'm on the right path for me. And I will often check what I'm hearing. Like, I am hearing this. Am I right? I am hearing this. Am I right? Because I don't want to go off and make a mistake. Like, I know in my own life mistakes that I've made and how painful they are. And I want to spare myself that pain. And so I want to spare other people the pain too. Right? It's not that the pain isn't important, because there are times where you have to let somebody make the mistake because that is a learning moment. And I get that. I sometimes get the download of this is going to be a learning moment. And when I get what is quote the negative word, I always couch it in something positive, which is this might feel a little rough, but what you're coming out into is refinement and it's beauty and it's wisdom and it's knowledge. So it might be a little bit of a bumpy road, but don't worry about the road, worry about the process and what you're learning, because that's really what matters. And so I help them find the good in the midst of the weeds and the brambles and the where the heck is the path I'm supposed to be walking.
Right. So what do you think holds people back from doing this? If it's something that could be simple as a solution for them,
Oh, yeah.
what do you think keeps people from doing this?
Well, that's actually a giant answer. There's about like most of it all boils down to one word, which is fear. But it comes from fear of a whole bunch of places. One, I have a friend who was told some stuff and it was dead on accurate about his brother, and he was terrified and won't get a reading from anybody because he's like, it was terrifying to me that they knew as much as they knew. Um, for other people, there's like family generational stuff that's handed down about how getting a reading from any kind of person is evil, right? Um, there's also some teachings and religious structures that say that, you know, unless you can see the Godhead, unless you can see God and source or Christ, whatever, Allah, right? Whatever word you're going to use for your God, unless you can see your God in it, then it's evil and don't touch it. But I think it also comes to the heart issue of a person. If the person who comes forward and says, basically, God, as I know you, I am looking for wisdom and I am looking for knowledge and I am looking for my right path with you so that I know I'm doing what you are asking me to do, then you can't go wrong because I'm tapping into that heart spirit that you are presenting to your God. And then
Yeah,
I'm in there with you.
like a prophet or a minister that has a word for people.
Exactly. And I started in the church. I learned how to do this in the church.
Wow. And yeah, you mentioned that when we were talking before we started the interview that you used to be a prophet in a church, like you were getting this word from God that you were supposed to tell people these things. And that kind of led into becoming an intuitive and
Yes.
really in channeling that. So I think it's amazingly helpful because sometimes it's really hard to be really clear. And, in fact, how do you know the difference when you hear a voice in your head? How do you know it's your intuition versus just that crazy rodeo going on inside your head?
Rodeo. I love that. Monkey mind, right? The incessant chatter that's constantly going on. So for me, there are a couple of things. I asked to hear. I wanted to hear the Lord. I wanted to hear God when I first started doing this. Now, I don't have my learning style is not listening. And so I made it harder on myself to hear. I also getting quiet is really important, and the ability to get quiet, which terrifies people, right? There are some people who cannot handle silence and they are not comfortable with it at all, which, that's a reality. And I always say if I can feel the peace, then I know I'm doing the right thing. And if I can't feel the peace, then I know it's wrong, and
Uh,
I pursue the peace. If I feel calm, if I feel like if even if I want it and it's not working out and I don't see it, but I still feel peaceful about it, then I know I'm on the right path. The second I
yeah.
start getting anxious about it and I get worried about it and I don't know how it's going to turn out, that is when I know that I have stepped out of the plan, if you will. And
Mhm.
I, in my brain and my fuzziness, have convinced myself that this is the way to go, and I've I've stepped out of the the realm, and I need to like recalibrate and get myself back into what feels right and peaceful for me.
I love that. It's almost like, you know, your these answers, this confirmation that you're getting is coming from love and that higher sense of yourself. Like it's not coming from fear, which is usually the brain. It's learning to tap into your soul to get those answers. Like Esther Hicks, people may be
Yes.
familiar with Esther Hicks. It's the same type of process, the same type of gift.
Mhm.
And we know like how many millions of people go and get readings from her and what an incredible
Right.
thing. And
And they
so
just listen to YouTube videos of her, right? Because she just answers question after question after question. And one of those questions is going to be yours.
yeah, it's going to serve you. And I love this in a group environment because people will get this experience of being able to see you do a reading for somebody and it may resonate with them as well. And it may not even be meant for them, but it's something they pick up on and gives them an answer that they may not have the courage to do that in front of everybody, you know? So tell us what should people do next when they're watching this interview and they're curious about what you're doing, they want to learn more. What should people do next?
So there's a linky below, right? And I am hosting basically a Zoom room in my kitchen. Right now I'm in my kitchen, so I'm going to have you come into my kitchen and sit at my kitchen table. And there'll be a whole other bunch of other people sitting at my kitchen table too, right? And I will give readings to the people who ask for one. So VIP are guaranteed a reading. And then everybody else in the room, it sort of comes down to fate about whether or not you get the luck of the draw and you're chosen if I feel like, oh, I really feel like spirit has something for this person. Otherwise, if you're VIP, then you are guaranteed me to answer or support or shine a light on whatever it is that you are currently wrestling with.
I love that. So if you are interested in this is something that maybe it's new to you, or you're just excited about the potential of possibly connecting with Kim on this level and getting this reading, then make sure you click the link below. And it is a free event, but if you upgrade to VIP, you pay just a little bit of money and you actually have a guaranteed opportunity to do a reading with Kim. The
Mhm.
first 10 people, I think you said first
Yep.
10 people
First 10
only.
people on via VIP.
That's so awesome. What a great opportunity. So definitely click on that link below to register for the event, upgrade to VIP. And I cannot wait to hear what happens to people who attend this event and the revelations and the clarity they're going to get from this. So thank you so much, Kim, for doing this. Is there anything else you want to add?
I would just say, if you're nervous or hesitant, or you feel like if you've got that voice in your head where you're like, I think I want to do this, but I don't know, right? It's free. Hop in and come experience it and be a fly on the wall in the room. And if I call your name and you're like, I'm not comfortable with this, you get to say, no, 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 right? And then I move on to somebody else. But if you're not there, right, then you definitely don't get the experience. And then VIPs are guaranteed a reading.
This is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited that you're doing this. Thank you so much for taking the time to do it. And I hope that you guys will plan to see you guys there. Can't wait to see, like I said, see and hear what happens. So if you're curious about this, or just want to go a little bit deeper, or you have a burning question about your life or your health or a relationship or a career move, and you're trying to make a big decision and you're not really sure
Mhm.
which direction to go, you can literally get that resolution and clarity at this event. So I would encourage you guys to join and click on the link to upgrade to VIP, and we'll see you there.